Well, g'day. Welcome back to Das Customs. It's a bit of an exciting day today. I think we finally might get this thing started. I think I'm at that stage. I've been missing bits and found bits and lost bits and made bits, but I think I have all the bits. I went out this morning, bought a new battery for it. We've got oil to put fresh oil in it for this run. The wiring is done, I think. I've been in contact with CB Performance. Fella there got back to me really quickly, which was great, regarding the ECU. I can't seem to see that it's triggering the fuel pump on, but he did confirm that he thinks I've got it wired up correctly, so that's good to know because I was kind of going blind with this thing. A little bit more to do, but today's the day. Look, I gotta say, this is my most ambitious project yet. This thing is just miles and miles of wires and fuel lines and oil lines. Like, I've just got everything on this car. And all it's gonna take is one thing to go wrong for it to all go pear-shaped. What I've just made here is the fuel link at the front. So you can see down there, I've got the two fuel lines coming through the bulkhead. That was what I plumbed in. That goes all the way to the back. And what I've got is these two, which are now going to go in here like this and hook onto there. And then that one. Which basically get me back to a single barb fitting to go into the fuel tank, which is great. So that's easy. I'll just give them a quick tighten up so they're done. And of course, I can't get a spanner into that one, so I have to tighten it up first. This is what I mean. Right, try it again. So tighten the first one up, looking slightly down like that. And then numero dos, like that. So now I'm just going to hook a rubber line from that into my boat tank for now. All the wires in the back are hooked up. Basically what I need to do, which I haven't done yet, I need to bolt the body down to get an earth wire, so the pan, and I'm getting a earth through it all. Yeah, that's something I'm just going to have to figure out right now. I just got to actually... I think I've got to move the car back slightly. It's just come forward off its bolt holes a bit, so that might take me a little ginning around, but I'll get that done next. Look, I'm making steady progress on this. It's kind of slow going again. It's just a lot of the little buttoning up stuff I'm trying to get sorted. I'm so close. I think I'm on the last bit of plumbing now, which is the turbo drain line. So I don't know if you can see what the problem is here. So yeah, that threaded in. I just need to hold my tongue right. And then that's the oil drain line there. And I need to connect that to there through that tinware. The other problem is that I can't find a fitting that's like a 20 mil or larger pipe. That's only a 3/8 barb. Couldn't find a fitting, but luckily in my box of bits I had this, which was like it goes from a bigger hose to a smaller hose fitting. So I think I'm going to be able to make that work. I've just got to get that in there through there. So of course I don't even know if I can probably get that tinware off. I don't even know if I can get this tinware off anymore. It's sandwiched in there between plates and stuff, so I think I'm going to have to try and drill this from underneath. try and figure out where that line is. It's coming through there, probably there. It's going to have to be a fairly decent hole to make that work. All right, trusty hole saw, managed to punch a hole through there. Sticking that pipe through, I feel like if I get it to just there, I can make that work. All right, well, all said and done, I'm pretty happy with that. That's the turbo drain line, kinking down through there, boost, into the deep sump. So that's basically the lowest entry point that it can go. Shouldn't be any crankcase pressure down there. Okay, so only thing left to do is, I mean, you know, I got to check for leaks. I mean, there are that many lines and fittings in this setup. I'm talking oil lines, I'm talking fuel lines, that something's probably going to leak. Have I forgotten to tighten one fitting? Probably. But the last thing I've got to do is hook up the spark plugs and the exhaust. I've got to do something about that. This thing here, look, it just doesn't quite fit, I don't think. So I've got this exhaust. This is the one that came off the kit. I mean, you know, it probably sounds better. I just don't think it quite fits with everything I've got going on in there. I might give it a crack. I'll just see if I can bolt her up and see what it looks like. It's going to be loud without it. It's going to be very, very loud. I was thinking potentially just doing a bus, just a dump pipe out, just cut that off and dump it out. If I can't get it to fit, I will do that, and I will weld in my O2 sensor bung into there. That's my O2 sensor lead, so I was thinking if I could just get it to go there. That means when I'm running it, you know, start up, I can see, looking at the gauge, what it's running like. That would be cool. So I might as well do that. Let's just see if we can bolt her up. So what I'm trying to see is, does this fit up in there? And basically it probably would have, except for the fact that that's where I mounted my oil filter, because I did not have this pipe. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is just hack it off about here, just bolt that bit on, weld my O2 bung in there, and then I can redo this at a later date. I'll just figure out how I can make it run a bit tighter maybe. You know, it's just an old rusty exhaust anyway. I might do something nicer. For now, I'm just going to cut it off, I think. Just go whop, and then at least I've got somewhere to put my O2 bung. Boat tank hooked up. Look, I've still got the clicky clack connected to it, so I hope it'll just suck through that. Put some fuses in the fuse box. Oof, let's see what they're doing. I mean, in theory, I should be able to jump in here now. Ooh! The fuel pump that I thought wasn't working just decided to work. It just needed more volts. So, and watch the dash. Boom! This light come on, everything seems like it's kind of working. Dare I turn the key? Am I building any oil pressure? That just shot all the way up. All right, so the SD card on my camera is full, so I'm back on the phone. But I'm excited because I've got this thing to crank, and that's pretty cool. The fuel pump seems to be working, which is great. Okay. This fuel injection system's old. It's 2002 is what was kind of written on the back of the thing. And there's no information really left about it anymore. It's a CB Performance setup. And I dare to say this has never been run. Everything just looked brand new. The throttle bodies look like they've never had fuel through them. The turbo definitely hasn't been charged. The exhaust, no black in it at all. So I'm guessing it's brand new. Okay, so what I was getting at is that I found on the CB Performance website, there's an old link to this turbo setup. It's called the competition turbo setup. And it has a basic wiring diagram, an installation instructions, and some tips on how to get it running. So their first tip is to charge the fuel pump. And to do that, we're going to pull the fuel pump relay, which is this bad boy right here. Nope, that one there. And we're going to run fuel. We're going to run, let me just see which one I need to go to. Yeah, that'll be why. Okay, I just need to get power to it, and then I've got to touch the right, I've got to hot wire the fuel pump basically. So I'm going to hot wire the fuel pump. Let's just see if I probably made my jump wire too short. Hey, don't touch that. Try that again. Okay, so I know the blue wire coming up through there, which is the one at the back, which is what I thought. So if I can just jump it. So there goes the fuel pump. Whee! And that is what I was looking for. So fuel leak straight up right there. Well, I think I've nailed it down to one fuel leak. Remember how I said, it'll probably be leaking out of one or two places? Basically out of every single fitting, it leaked. I guess I wasn't sure how tight to snug these things up, and now I know. So I probably leaked about 20 litres of fuel all over the floor. I built up to 40 PSI, and then it started, and I think basically what I've got is a leak out of the fuel pump. That's the last one, I believe. And then I've got to set this thing to 50 PSI. So I'll just get under there and clean that up, and then, see what we can do. Well, this is not where I wanted to be. I'll be honest with you. I seem to be going good. The starter was turning it fine. For some reason, the injectors weren't firing. Not sure on that. Then it started grinding and crunching. And look, I didn't want to be grinding and crunching this engine, So I pulled it out, and luckily it just seemed like the starter was grinding a bit on the flywheel. But I don't know why that was. That's just not meant to be. It's not meant to be grinding and crunching on the flywheel. You can see all the remnants in there. I did rebuild that starter. It seemed to be working fine previously. I don't know what would have changed with that. Anyway, sometimes backwards is the only way to go. I mean, it's only 4 bolts, right? So I pulled her out. I don't really know what to do. I don't know what to do about this. Basically, I need to either get a new starter or suss out what's going on with this starter. Why is it grinding my flywheel? is it staying engaged? And I think I just pull the starter out, have a good look at it, and then take it from there, I guess. All right, so I set up this setup that I've got. I used to use it as a start stand, still could if I wanted to. And when I put the starter motor on that setup, not grinding, right? So no grinding. And I'm thinking, well, so I contacted the guy who I got the engine off and the gearbox off, actually. He was the guy who I got them both off. And he said to me that when the guy, Aaron Roberts, the gearbox builder up here on the Gold Coast, when he built the gearbox, or the trans axle, as we call them, he machined 2 mil off the face of it. And that 2 mil is probably throwing my starter motor too far forward and grinding on the flywheel. Possible? Plausible? Maybe? Don't know. So his suggestion was, make that. So that's a little bit of 2 mil aluminium. I'll just quickly put it on my water jetter, CNC machine, cut that out. No, tin snips and a file. So then we'll be back to, bolting that back in to there and bolting them back on to that, and then trying to figure out why it's not firing. I thought it was the fuel injectors, but when I first undid them and had a look, it seemed to me that they were wet, which would mean that they're probably firing. So it probably is something to do with the not firing on the right cylinder, when it's going for some reason. And I'm not sure how to fix that. Yeah, not sure how to fix that. So anyway, I guess I'm just going to keep going. All right, well, trials and tribulations. The starter is still not engaging properly. Not sure what is going on with that. I kind of did something. I don't know what I did. It's still leaking oil badly out of the oil filter. Don't know why. But it's running. Now, I'd love to start it up again and show you guys that. But it is smoking, God almighty. Like, it's just blowing a cloud of smoke. And it's just rich fuel. I know it's just from the first start up. I know how these things go. But the place was just inundated with smoke, and I can't do it again because, people are around. So I've blown all the smoke out of here. I'm going to play a little clip now that I took when I got it running. And that's the first step. So this thing, the fuel injecting's working. Look, obviously I've got it wound, the revs are up, so I can whack that off. I've got to play with that. Got to set the timing. I've got to fix the oil leak that's, causing me dramas, change the starter. I don't know why that starter is doing what it's doing on this flywheel, but it is, and it's not good. So I've got another starter there. I'll give it a crack. Other than that, it's a runner. Look, on that note, I'm pretty excited. This thing, I've fixed all the fuel leaks. I can basically start it with the key. There's obviously some fine tuning to do, which is, not surprising being me, but it's a thing. It's a thing. All right, guys, I'm going to have to catch you later.